Congrats to you all on the new show. It's so funny. Aidy, why will fans love human resources?
Oh, baby, why won't they? I mean, I think it's so many of the things that people love about Big Mouth, even bigger in a lot of ways, where it's just like so funny, but so much emotion, and there's a lot of story to follow. So I think people are gonna be vibing.
I agree. It is hilarious. Now, Big Mouth, now human resources filled with larger than life characters. Aidy, what do you have to do to create a memorable voice role in a show like this?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think a lot of it is in the writing and you're like following the writer's leads and the scripts are so great that it's kind of easy to start to be like, "Oh, I know how this guy feels, you know?"
Randall, you play Pete, the Logic Rock. Was it easy to find yourself in that character?
Oh yeah, I just went in there and read the lines. I mean, it was. I mean, I think yeah, like as Aidy said, the writing is so good, and the casting is so good, and I definitely have a lot of logic rock in me, so it wasn't that tough to go in there and be Pete.
It's iconic. Brandon, what's it like going from a writer to the voice cast now? And which is more fun? Which has more pressure?
Writing has more pressure for sure. You gotta like build the world, whereas we read our lines and we're like, oh hey, this is cute. So I think the writing satisfies the kind of like the storyteller in me, and the voice satisfies the creative goofball who just wants to like get in a booth and have some fun.
So I mean, the show is really fun, and the thing that sets it apart from Big Mouth, obviously, is now it's tackling adult issues. What's it like to tackle things like grief and depression in a comedy while keeping it light?
I think that the show is well suited for that because of the creatures and because there's so much comedy. So it allows us to talk about these really heavy things, but through humor, which I think allows people to actually process and hear about it and find the language to articulate their own emotions around those heavy things that usually we don't talk about. Usually we kind of sweep under the rug. So I think that's the great thing about the show and the world and the creatures.
Like now, the show describes itself as Big Mouth meets The Office. So let's throw it back. Aidy, what do you remember about your first ever job?
Oh God. I mean, my very first jobs were like babysitting when I was too young and maybe like not shouldn't have been left in charge of children, definitely was like, I guess I'm wiping asses. I don't know. I was really winging it.
Randall, what about you?
Oh, my first job. I remember. I don't remember my first job. I should have this in my head, but I know one of my first jobs was at UCLA, and I was working in the bookstore, the student bookstore at UCLA, and I remember throwing up in actually twice in like the little trash can behind the counter because I was so hungover.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Brandon, what about you? First job?
I was like a camp counselor, but I was also like, I was like 8 or 9 and the kids were like 3 and I felt so grown. I was like, line up. Like I loved like next. I felt so grown. I had no business doing that.
I love that. Aidy, if entertainment didn't work out, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. Before I like was getting paid to do comedy, I did like a lot of like teaching kind of jobs. Like I worked at a preschool and I worked at a bookstore where like we did little classes and stuff. So maybe I would be a teacher and I would just be like a very annoying, loud teacher.
Randall, what about you? What would you be doing?
I'd be an electrician, I think.
Ooh.
Because there seems to be not enough electricians out there, at least in my neighborhood. So, there'd definitely be a lot of work. And I don't know.
So logical.
Yeah. So yeah, it would keep me busy.
And Brandon, what about you?
I would be a therapist or a stripper because I feel like, you know,
Ooh,
like, wouldn't that be fun? Like if I could be anything,
little
right?
bit of both.
But
A little bit
yeah,
both.
be
A stripping
both. Do
therapist, you
both.
know, got to keep your practices separate. But yes, yes.
Getting that overtime. So, Aidy, did you have like a crazy job that you did as a side hustle while pursuing your dream?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I worked at a barber shop for a really long time, like while I would do comedy and I would tour. And I guess, I don't know, they thought I was really good at sweeping hair. So they would kind of let me come and go when I was like touring comedy. And it was a very strange experience to work in a completely male environment and just be a little quiet person sweeping hair in the background.
That's funny. Randall, what about you? Do you have a crazy memory, crazy job you've had?
Uh, well, I did work, I did graphic design. Not that that's a crazy job, but I did that for a bit for a newspaper, you know, those weekly newspapers that you get for free. And I got put in charge of the back section of those newspapers, which is basically like a lot of personal escort and massage, you know, massage ads. And that was an interesting job because we'd have people come in and give us photos and we'd have to scan the photos and use a lot of stock model photos, which was I felt bad for some of those stock models, but sometimes we put black bars over their eyes. That was an interesting job.
Love that. And Brandon, what about you? Any crazy job you've had?
Not great. I was a waiter for a week, but I was terrible at it because I wanted to eat lunch with the people, and I wanted to food. And I was like, I'm so resentful bringing you your martini. I would like to drink. So that was like, they stopped scheduling me because I was very bad and clearly resentful.